internationally. On the local scene, police said on Wednesday that 2 people were killed in a shooting in Upper Monkey Hill. According to authorities, 3 people were shot by unknown gunmen. 2 died at the spot, and the 3rd was transported to hospital, where he is presently in stable condition. Across the region, the government of Suriname has declared 2 days of national mourning, Thursday and Friday, in connection with Monday's tragic mining disaster in Brokopondo district, which claimed the lives of a number of illegal gold miners. And on the international scene, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to continue fighting Hamas after ceasefire ends. These are the top stories, local, regional, and international. You're listening to the Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining me on the program for today. We'll open the phone lines later, and you can call us at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. Again, the numbers are 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. You can also catch this program via social media platforms such as ZIZ's YouTube channel and Facebook page, and you can also view via ZIZ TV. I think it is channel 99. It's channel 99. Channel 99? What's ZIZ's TV channel? ZIZ TV. I think it's channel 99. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me in the program today. Let's get right into the conversation. Now, yesterday there was a double homicide, and I saw some footage via social media. Some people were reporting on the incident there. It was a very sad moment there for the friends and family of those who lost their lives. According to the authorities, 3 people were shot, 2 succumbed to their injuries at the scene, and 1 is currently at hospital in a stable condition. And of course, whenever these things happen, the citizens and residents engage in a passionate debate, a passionate conversation about crime and violence in our communities and the response and what we can do as a people. What can the authorities do? What is the answer? How can we address the situation? And people give their different suggestions, their views, opinions. Some are very valid. Some, of course, you can only determine if it is going to be successful if you put it to the test. But the issue of gun violence has been one plaguing us for quite some time, and even across the region, where we don't manufacture guns, we don't make guns in the Caribbean. There is no government sanctioned factory that produces guns. Yet still, our streets are flooded and have been flooded with guns. And of course we ask ourselves, well, how are these guns getting into the country? Where are they coming from? Why is this happening? Law enforcement agencies, organizations, governments, private sector organizations, community-based groups and organizations have all come together at some point in time to address the issue of crime and violence. Symposiums, workshops, training sessions, you name it. Rehabilitation programs, the list goes on and on and on. For us here in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, they have rolled out programs after programs after programs. The Ministry of National Security programs after programs after programs. All in an effort to curb crime and violence within our communities. And so it is not a case where nothing is being done. And one would agree that this issue of crime and violence is not one that you can address in a short space of time. It is something that the experts would have to study or continue to study and look at the trends and the patterns and determine the root cause of the issue. It is also a very expensive undertaking. All of these programs, when I say that they're not free in the sense that it has to be paid for, it has to be financed. And so when we have the issue of crime and violence in our communities, it is costly. It is expensive. It is emotionally damaging. Now, of course, we want to wake up to a peaceful country, a peaceful community, a peaceful neighborhood, a peaceful world, if I could say that. But what are we willing to do? What sacrifices are we willing to make? What are we willing to do to ensure that our communities remain safe and peaceful? That is the question that has been on the table for quite some time. What approach should we take to ensure that there is peace within our communities? For those of you who are just tuning in, you're listening to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. Today, it's Thursday, November 23rd, 2023. Thank you so much for joining me on the program. We'll open the phone lines later, but in the meantime, you can write down the numbers 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. Those are the numbers you call to participate. Give your feedback on the topic at hand. How much more can we as a people take? How much more of our young people we are going to lose before we rise up and stand up and say enough is enough? No, I am not one who's in favor of the blame game situation and say, well, it is your fault. It is your fault why we have all of this going on, or it is your fault. I'm not about that. This is not the time for a blame game situation. Because the reality of it is that the blame game is not going to address or fix or bring some sort of remedy or relief to the situation. Suggestions and programs and initiatives, those are what would effect some sort of change and see some sort of positive change. Our community doing a better job at raising our children. And it doesn't start when you see them start to go delinquent. It starts at a very young age. At a very, very young age. It starts in our homes, in our schools, even in our churches. But we can't wait until they come big and say, we're going to try to fix the situation. I don't think that's going to work. And sometimes we take these things for granted and we laugh it off and we say, man, our children, they be. But I think that is where it all begins. Hence the reason why there are these youth groups and programs, and they're not just there for style, they're there for a reason, they are there for a purpose, and they're trying to achieve something. They're trying to keep them occupied and away from violence. That is the reason why these programs have been implemented. Oh yes, you might have a situation where, let's say for example, 10, 20 people participate in a specific program geared towards a program that is catered for at-risk youth. And let's say you have 20 participants. You might have a situation where out of the 20, 19 or 18 or 17 of them come out to be law-abiding and productive citizens, while the others, for whatever reason, have chosen the other path. And that happens. Will there be a 100% success rate all the time? I don't think so. But does that mean that we should give up on them? Does that mean that they don't deserve a second chance? I was listening to some clips the other day from the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Sutton, and he used the opportunity to call on our people to join the fight. Join the fight. Whatever you can do to curb crime and violence. But you know, we also have a situation where there is a great level of ignorance. A great level of ignorance, where some people are now saying, well, you can't tell my child what to do, or you can't do this and you can't do that, and people are quick to retaliate and quick to anger instead of wanting to live in peace. And peace, and I have to say it again, peace, peace, peace. What is causing all of this anger and hate? Why? These are the questions that people continue to ask. It's 13 minutes past 11 o'clock. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll begin taking your calls to get your views, suggestions, opinions on the topic at hand. You're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Let's take this break, and we will be right back.
Tis the season to be merry with ZIZ Radio and Television Broadcasting Network. And what a better way to make your business stand out than by spreading holiday cheer to your potential customers with our spectacular Christmas package designed to help your business shine during this festive season. We'll tailor our advertising solutions to match your unique business needs. Whether you're a cozy local shop, a trendy online store, or a bustling service provider, we've got something special for you. you. Plus, our packages are incredibly cost-effective, allowing you to get the most value for your marketing budget. But that's not all. When you choose our Christmas packages, you get ear-catching radio and eye-catching television spots that will keep your business on everyone's mind. Social media campaigns that will keep your followers engaged and excited. So what are you waiting for? This Christmas, make your business the star of the show and give your customers a reason to celebrate. Call us at 465-2621, 465-2622, or visit our sales and marketing department to learn more about our Christmas packages. Together, let's make this holiday season truly magical for your business. Merry Christmas and happy business to you.
Get ready to go all in with your crew for Sugar Mass 52 at the Ultimate Liming event. Join us on Thursday, November 23rd at Barry's Bar and Grill in Bird Rock for a karaoke competition from 6 to 9 p.m. Sing your heart out for a chance to win tickets to National Carnival events, fabulous gifts from our sponsors, and the excitement of Juve and Carnival bands. Mark the calendar for Thursday, November 23rd and gather your crew for an unforgettable night of vibes, giveaways, folklore, and pop-up performances at We Lyman. It's all happening at Barry's Bar and Grill for a taste of Carnival. Don't miss out. We Lyman.
And I know you feel alright, put your hands in the sky. So when you want me in the truck and just come in.
Welcome back to the Edge here in ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. Today is Thursday, November 23rd, 2023. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. The phone lines are open and we'll begin taking your calls at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. We have our first caller for this morning. Caller, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, my friend Devon.
Yes, how are you doing today?
Oh man, I'm doing just like you. So if you know you're doing bad, tell me, let me trash back.
No, I ain't doing bad, man.
Okay. Now, Devon, it's sad to see what happened yesterday, and that is nothing new, because that's been happening from ever since. And a lot of advice been given on all the administration. But it seems like unless you ain't come from overseas with long sleeve shut and a different complexion to we who live in the ghettos, we are on the ground and we know what is going on. They don't take us on. Now, we have two ports of entry, airport and seaport. And when anybody comes to those two ports, nobody's supposed to smile and say, okay, go ahead, man. You go through, you good. No. Even the devil got the friend, and the Bible tell you plain out, do not let the left hand know what the right hand know. Check every man, tooth, moon, sam, and bagay. Because it's who people think would not do illegal things and bring in this and bring in that. They are the ones who does it, some of them. So I'm saying check everybody. And when it comes to our borders, I have a good friend, he don't call him now, I ain't gonna call him. Me and he for years, we've been advocating for them to have proper border control. You cannot have one Coast Guard going around saying it's an even. No, when the Coast Guard go around so, the perpetrators coming behind the back and coming in so. We don't make no gun in sink it. And unless you don't have enough radar system and patrol boats and people on the shore of Sinkers and Nevis going around regular, it don't work. So any boat coming in the water, somebody who is employed to see what is going on, they will see that boat and check it. Because these things, it look, are they getting out of hand because a lot of people cannot be trusted, you know. A lot of people, they see things coming in and they refuse to let the authorities know. Look, I see a boat coming down so last night and go down there go check it. They ain't talking nothing. And one of the reasons, if you see something in the sunlight where the perpetrator could see you, say nothing. Because some people, they do not have any confidentiality in them. You say, look, I thief this thing here from my good friend Cornelius, and only you want to tell him, all right, man, me ain't gonna talk. But from the time it turn off and it's your police in the area, are you fighting? Because I don't want if you tell somebody and he gone down the line. So I am saying now, the authorities them, the police them, they cannot be here there anywhere, but they need to walk on the ground, go through the alleys and all over the place. Don't pick out no place. And don't dress up special. Dress up like ordinary people. Absorb what's going on, the talks between people, and assess what you have to assess. Otherwise, we ain't doing nothing. Talking and sitting on in your office with your condition and just talking, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work because the perpetrators ahead of the law-abiding citizens. Anyway, if I get back, I come back. I get back.
Caller, thank you so much for your contribution to the program. You're listening to the HN ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls. Do we have any more callers? Yes, we do. Caller, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Brother Devonne.
Yes, good morning.
You hear me clear?
I am.
Now, Brother Devonne, it's sad to hear and to see what's going on in this federation. In thinking, most I must say. Brother Devonne, up to this morning, I was at a different way the talks are calling in. And I say, I believe the root cause of the problem are these young men. When you caught them young men, investigate them. Look at the young man who got shoot in the hospital now and the treatment. Where they supposed to be when the Lego when he get 10 to Lego. The whole man the question him, don't let him go. Let them know who the perpetrators be, who causing all these things, who checking them, who after him. And so far to pick them up like that, they do the same thing to all of them. And if they want to talk, you put them aside until they talk. They must talk. And I believe government should come up with some kind of solution, some kind of law. Pass it in house. Give the police them more authorities to deal with these young people. Give them more force. People can talk. But, they got to do what they got to do. Because they destroy the country. They destroy our tourist industry. They destroying business places in the country. Look at it now, Brother Devonne. I remember back in the 80s, all up in the 90s, shop open till all 1 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you could party across by Barbs. You remember here you go by Barbs. You could come from some function and you go by Barbs, go until morning. Ask some kind of discuss about till morning. You can't do that now. Because of the ignorance of these young men. They're causing the economy to shamble. Because when you got your little disco and your little business place and you could make money in the night, you can't make the money. Because you got to close down the business early. Because you don't know what's going to happen. So I believe that the law enforcement put some enforcement with the police, give the police authorities to do some certain things. Right. Me not support them and kill them and do them and brutalize them and kill them and do them kill them. But they got to enforce the law. And in enforce the law, Devonne, I do not believe we're going to get no way with this crime. We're going to just continue. You were saying something, Devonne?
Mm-hmm. No, I was thanking you for your contribution. We want to take
okay, man. Somebody gets a chance. You have a wonderful day. May God bless.
Yes, and thank you so much for your contribution to the program. We have no callers right now. But, if the police have reason to believe that if they suspect that you are involved or if you're a suspect in a crime, of course, they will investigate you. So it's not a case where you're released, from my understanding of it. If they have reason to believe that you're a suspect, you'll be called in for questioning, and they will be monitoring you to ensure to get to the bottom of it. Let's say that. It's 11:24 and we're taking your calls here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. You're listening to The Edge. I'm Devonne Cornelius, your host. Thank you for joining me. Today's Thursday, November 23rd. Boy, just like that, November dawn, boy. Time went by so fast. I think we have a caller. We have a caller on the line? All right. So, let me thank the two previous callers for their contribution to the discussion. And if you are just joining the program, we're the topic of the recent homicide and generally crime and violence in St. Kitts and Nevis, and what can we do as a community to address the issue of crime and violence and protecting our communities. As I said earlier, we are losing our young people to crime and violence, and you have people who are 18 and 20 and in their 20s, the most 30s, who are dying at the hands of these guns. Well, I mean, somebody has to pull the trigger, but you get what I'm saying. And the families are left to grieve and mourn and deal with the aftermath of all of this. And that is the sad reality. That is the sad and harsh reality. I'll tell you that I don't have all the answers. I don't have the answers to address the situation of crime and violence. I don't believe that our leaders have all the answers. I don't believe that the police, the authorities, have all the answers. I don't believe that the community have all the answers. What I do believe is that if we come together and everybody put their ideas together, we can make some progress. We can see some progress. Yes, St. Kitts and Nevis is a small place, and there is the genuine concern of confidentiality, as we touched on yesterday when I brought the discussion about the whistleblower protection bill, unauthorized disclosure of official information bill. And so we had a conversation about confidentiality and people releasing information, and that has been a concern generally in law enforcement. Some people are of the position that I've taken the position that when you give information, the information is not entirely confidential. And of course, that is something that the authorities, the law enforcement officers would have to address. It's a very serious matter. You cannot have a case where people are bringing information to you to report on a crime or to assist you in your investigation, and then you have somebody who's going out there and say, "Boy, is he telling me so? I hear it from the lady down the road." That can't be. If you ask me, you're adding to the problem, and you're making matters worse. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take another call. Caller, good morning. Welcome to the program. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Let's save this one.
Okay.
Caller, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, I'm back again. Devon,
Yes, go ahead.
it is high time now for these telephone here to get fixed. Every day you got problem with the phone. Up to this morning, they're calling ZIZ, and GQ in there saying hello, and me saying hello. And when you call a radio station to talk to you're supposed to listen to the moderator in our phone, not the radio. And none of us could hear none of us through the phone. It's high time the telephone company up yourself, man. They're embarrassing people.
All right, caller. Thank you for your contribution to the program. Let's hit this.
Hello.
Yes, caller. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Yeah. Good morning. And how are you?
I am great, thanks. And you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm calling concerning the crime. Mm-hmm. You see, they're blaming everybody. The government, the policeman, and everybody. What happened to the parents? You see, you, especially if your kid live with you, you see your kid, your child, substance kid, child, and behave in a different way. Why don't you pull them over? When I was growing up, as I said, time changes. When I was growing up, I see parents bawl in front of the children and tell them, stop what you're doing. Now, if the police go and do anything, them is the same people say, oh, the police abuse them. You know, because if the police go to them and talk to them and they start to have the attitude and the police get back with one with them, people, they still gonna complain about the police. Blaming everybody, blame the parents. The Bible says train up a child in the way he should go, that when he or she come old, he'll never depart from it. When I was growing up, I mean, again, it changed. When Sunday school, you go to Sunday school, you go to church. They used to have a song say, as easy as Sunday afternoon. How Sunday used to be quiet. They go to dance, make sure 12 o'clock, midnight Saturday, dance finish. If they don't have to go to work, everybody home quiet, relaxing themselves. Now they're on the beach. The churches are empty. The other day, Pastor Connor was talking about some kind of event here for the young people. How many parents invite their children to go to listen to what Brother Connor say? The Bible turn on again and say, he that live by the sword shall die by it. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but not one drop of my word shall pass. So you have to look all around these things. Blame the parents, them. If you can go with your child soon as number 1, 2, if you beat your children them, child abuse, police come for you. So that is what's going on here now. I remember parents, I get a big stick. Big stick. My grandmother just torn after me. And nobody said child abuse. Because up to there, no police, no nothing could come to my door. Because that's the way I train my kids them also. That's how I train them. And all my grandchildren them, nobody in the courthouse. So they had to bring back the old time fashion things here. And then the number 1 again, children are getting children. Young children, the mother young, grandmother young. So there's nobody there, nobody to rule nobody. Grandmother and daughter is in dances. That used to be happen. That used to be happen. But now everything turn around. Nobody have no respect for nobody. So if they cry in front of the children, and the children see how they feel the pain, I think they will say, Mommy is hurting. And the next thing again, when especially young men them, if a young lady do them anything, I used to hear them say, if I didn't have my sister and my mother, you know, what will I do with you? But not you don't use hear those words anymore. They go down into the woman like anybody business. They curse them like no in and out because they don't have no respect, no training. Sunday school, no church. People go to church, cry out. What do you say? The police and the government could do? Start from home. Charity being at home and in abroad. You know your kids. So anyway, you have a nice day.
Carla, thank you for your contribution to the program. It's 11:33 and you're tuned in to ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. You're listening to The Edge. Carla, thank you for your discussion, your contribution to the program. There's one thing that I'll say. Children have been having children for a very long time. So this ain't something that started in the early 2000s or anything like that. As far as I know, children have been having children for a very long time, and mothers and their daughters and fathers and their sons and children and their parents have been partying together for years upon years upon years. Let's take this break and we'll be right back. You're listening to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM.
Craving for soup, chowder, goat water, variety unmatched? Head to the Soup Cafe by Unoma Allen in TDC Mall, 4th Street, Bastia. Call or WhatsApp them at 660-7687 or 660-SOUP, S-O-U-P. That's the Soup Cafe.
At ZIZ, we want to take a moment to salute our small business owners and encourage you to support them. Our small business owners are always hard at work providing quality goods and services to you. They also provide employment for many and can be counted on to give back to our communities. Today and every day, we salute our small business owners and we say thank you for the opportunity to provide advertising services to you. If you're a small business, call us at 465-2621 to join our family of small business advertisers. Call us 465-2621. You'll be glad you did.
ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host Devonne Cornelius. You're listening to The Edge for Thursday, November 23rd, 2023. For those of you who are just joining the conversation, we are on the topic of crime and violence and getting your suggestions and feedback and views on this topic. And as I was saying earlier at the beginning of the program, it is a very passionate conversation and people engage in very passionate debate about it, and what can we do to fix it, and who has the answers. What can we do to curb crime and violence and get the guns off the streets? I think that was what the commissioner was saying at a recent national security press conference. So implementing all these programs and rehabilitation and programs in the schools and within the communities, yes, those are supported, those are fine. But if we still have guns on the streets, that's another issue. But in order for these guns to be on the streets, they have to come here. How they get in here? We have a caller. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, good morning and welcome to the program.
Yeah, Devonne. I get cut out, man. Anyway, I was saying this, right? Over the years, they've been saying they find this gun up in an old house. They find that one down in another old house. But they never come in here and say yet, we find the source where these guns are coming in. They don't have to call the people them name for safety of the personal life. But come on the radio and say, listen, this problem going to be solved because we find where the guns are coming in and we're working on that area. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is important to we the people them who on the ground going to alleys and all over the place. Once we know they're coming in over so, everybody going to be focusing on over so, and a little bit going to be focusing on the other areas around. That is what is important, but they're just coming anyway, they're saying, oh, we pick up this and pick up that. And like you just said, these load of conferences and talk ain't gonna help, It's actions. I remember one time there, I heard a retired army major said on the radio that they were driving down the waterfront there by Rams, coming down, and they saw a guy going up on the sidewalk. And just the observation of the guy, they know something wrong, and they stopped the Jeep. And when they come out and they hold him, he had a gun in his waist. And they lock him up from there. Observation. And that only could come from people who have a concern about the problem. So they're looking east, west, north, and south to any kind of funny move, and then they just go there and investigate and they can find what they're looking for. But other than that, sitting on in the office ain't gonna work.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution. We have another caller. Caller, good morning. You're on the program.
I so agree with that lady, with she passionate voice and talking like that. Just a few weeks ago, I was talking to a lady, and she met me attacking me. You call about an IR anyway, you come and talk about people, children, and this and that. You could tell anybody what do these children them? I said, nobody could tell I what do the children them. But let me tell you something. When our children them get where they get in, you are about to be the ones who still go up in the cemetery go cry, go in the funeral home go cry, and go blame somebody because I blame the police, blame this, because our children them gone down. You understand? That is just simple, you know. Devonne, just imagine a child in primary school. You can't, some of the teachers then doing him can't control him. Because teachers will complain to me, tell me about how children they get on, they want to let the parents them home, just teach them anything. I show them respect. Bad word in the mouth and all kind of thing to teachers. Bad word. Devonne, I tell you. And when children come up and merge down to high school, where do you think they're going to be in the kind of attitude they got going over to high school? Teachers again got problem up there. Them teachers got problem can't done. So that is what that's the only way to solve the problem. Tackle them when they're young. You understand? Look the age of them, how they're doing. 18 years, 19 years, 20, 25. They don't even lose the mother features yet. And they got to go to the great eternity. Man, something serious needs to be done with these young men, man. It's not. We got being put no government in nothing. But I believe the government, they need to listen to me, people like culture, and the lady with us don't talk, and others. Listen to us, with the ordinary man on the street. Got the advice for them. Just like I tell you, when you catch them guys, pressure them because they're not who behind them. You know what I'm saying? This one in coming out the hospital, he gonna retaliate, so he's not gonna tell the police them nothing, and he like going down but like that. Who filed that, brother Devonne? Who filed that? Who filed that? He filed? Okay then.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution. It's 11:41 here in the studios of ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM. You're listening to The Edge. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining. Let's take another break and we have a caller? Okay, we'll take this call and then we'll take a break. Caller, good morning and welcome to the program.
Yes, Devonne, man. Me gonna talk, because this ain't no politics now, This is concerned citizen about your country. Now let me tell you something. When I was going to school, you hear, Devonne? When I leave my mother's house, I will manners up, discipline up, soldier up, police up. And when school over, I joined the bad company noise, bad word and all kind of thing, and I'm just a little boy, And when I get in home and I reach the keep still zone, I am more quiet like Mary had a little lamb. And my mother wouldn't know the amount of bad word they Lego because I'm not in her presence. So therefore, the training is good. She followed the Bible and she taught me well.
All right.
And I had to buckle up, but when I get glad to be bad until I read the keep still zone. Oh.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Watch your step there, little man. That party's falling into the sea.
But Daddy, when it all slips into the sea, where will we live?
Well, son, that would take a long time. So let's not worry about that right now. Just enjoy the beach, okay?
Daddy, when Grandpa brought you to the beach, was it slipping in then?
I can't remember, but that shed over there was not so close to the water, so I guess so.
So, Daddy, when I bring my children to the beach, will there even be a beach still? I learned all about climate change in school, and teachers said we have to change our habits or it would be even worse.
So, big man, what do you think we should do?
Really? Who is the daddy here anyway?
Okay. We will ask your teacher where she got her information, and then we'll do our own little part.
Good, because I want to keep coming to the beach with you, even when you're like 100.
Change your heart, change your habit. We the people can change how we approach the impact of climate change. A message of hope from Island Resilience, promoting a climate of change.
This is my land, my island, our home. It's time to come together to keep her forever resilient and strong.
Island Resilience, promoting a climate of change. The Climate Change Adaptation and Sustainable Land Management Initiative of the OECS Commission, funded by the European Union.
Go to islandresilience.org for more information or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Welcome back to the program. You're listening to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne, Cornelius, and thank you so much for joining. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls at 465-2555 or at 718-577-2916. Do we have any callers on the line? All right. So if you're just tuning in, we're on the topic of crime and violence and what we can do. Now, I mentioned earlier that our leaders, of course, leaders, community, police, you name it, don't have all the answers to the problem. However, that does not mean that we should not look to them for the solution, or for solutions, or for plans, suggestions, whatever you want to call it. It does not mean that we should give them a free pass. It does not mean that we should say, well, you know, yeah. So I just wanted to make that point. But there was a caller that said something earlier that stuck with me, and she said, what about the parents, guardians, and people who spend most of their time with the children? So teachers as well. What about them? What role are they playing? I think we have a caller on the line, so we'll head to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Devon. A pleasant Tuesday morning to you and a blessed day.
Yes, good morning.
You played a commercial just a while ago concerning the father and son visiting the shore, the beach. And the father is explaining to the son that the hut or the little house was not so close to the water anymore. I mean, was not that close to the water back then. He can't remember it being like that. And that's because the water has taken up 90% of the beach, so to speak. So now that little hut is much more closer to the water than it was years ago by. His father asked the child, what do you think we should do? The child in return says to the dad, who is the father here? When you lose respect and authority, everything goes crazy. Mm-hmm. When respect and authority comes from the top and is lost up there, nobody has no respect for each other. No one who is in authority is standing their grounds to carry out and implement the things that should be done in the right way. It's going to trickle down. What's happening in the St. Kitts right now did not just happen overnight. It didn't happen yesterday. It didn't happen last year. It's something that seeks its way into my beautiful island. And before it was stopped at the grassroots by cutting it off, many persons, government officials, ungovernment officials, whoever was involved, played a blind eye to what was taking place. Some of them may have said, oh, it's not going to last forever, it's going to stop. Some of them might have said, it's not my business, so why should I get involved? And the length of thing goes on of what many might have said. The problem is, when you start paying a blind eye to what's happening within your household, and it stretches itself outside to the schools and then into your community, there's where your problem becomes a major problem. The household has no respect for each other. Men cusses out women. Men abuse women. Women cusses out men. Women abuse men. Children sit and lie in wake and listen and watch these incidents take place time and time again. No respect. No respect, no disregard for what we are saying to our young generation, what we are saying to our children. And this thing just keeps adding. And children go to school and they behave the same way. And nothing changes because teachers in school also have the problems, and they're trying at the same time to teach children that they can, in order for them to educate them to become respectable men and women of the future, the next generation. But what do? We sit back. When someone tries to correct our child, our children, we get abusive, we get aggressive, we get rude and nasty to the individuals who are trying to bring some kind of enlightenment and this direction in our children's eyes or in their lives. You said something, and it is true. Stop playing the blame game. We've been here before. Right. We have done this 1,000 times. We blame the government. We blame the churches. We blame each other. Mm-hmm. From the time a community stopped rearing a child, where I said to you, because you came to me and you said, Janet, I saw your son doing so and so, and I said to you, I didn't ask you to be a watchman for my child, or don't tell me nothing about my child. I can control my child. Everything gone. Everything gone. Because then you no longer look at my child in a way that you would have looked at him and had I been a respectable parent and said, thank you for bringing my attention to this, Devonne. I will deal with it. You no longer look like in that direction. And my child continues, and at the same time, they are recruiting other children to do the same thing. Respect, loyalty, and the governance has lost its way in the federal. Well, I'm not going to say the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis because I don't know what's happening in St. Nevis, but on my beautiful island, it has lost all grounds. And I'm going to say this to you: it's not going to be able. We are not going to be able to return it. We're not going to be able to change the directions and the paths that it's going into because it's too far gone. We have to find a way to cut it down for it not to be 100%, but we can see if we can get it down to maybe 50 or 60%, because the way our young people are dying is not something that you want to continue in the future. The way that we are disrespecting each other is not something you want to continue in the future.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to the program. It is 11:51, and so we'll begin wrapping up the discussion for today. Just about 9 minutes left. Let me use this opportunity to say thank you. And we have another caller. Caller, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Devonne.
Good morning.
Yes, I don't think we can continue doing what we've been doing before and expect a different result. Okay, it has to be something new and different. Not saying that we should just discard what has been tried before, because clearly, some things worked, some things didn't, right? But the fact that we're here suggests that we have to do something different. And I keep saying that not just the Prime Minister, but other leaders in the community must come together and address what is happening, right? Otherwise, we risk normalizing what is happening, and people become numb to it, and, it's just another one and just another two. Okay, we cannot allow this to become the norm. And I'm afraid that the fact that we don't have more than the voices that are already speaking out, suggests that either they've thrown up their hands or they said it's not going to make a difference. I think it won't make a difference. And when you get that sense of hopelessness, that just feeds into what is happening. Okay, I think too often it appears the responses just hang tough. Okay? But that's just like an ostrich burying its head in the sand, thinking that the problem is going to go away, because it's not going to go away by just doing that.
Right.
Obviously. Okay, so something new has to be tried. And I would suggest that one of the things that we can do is both the government and opposition. Traditionally, government and opposition are always at it. Mm-hmm. Very hostile, very uncivil to each other. Mm-hmm. If they can appear on the same platform, saying the same things, not each one issuing a statement. No, that does not solve the problem, because the tendency is to blame somebody else. Okay? If both can come on the same platform with saying the same thing so that they're on the same page, speaking with one voice, I know it will be hard to achieve. But like I said, we must try something new, right? And that would send a signal to the gangs that, well, if these guys who are always warring can come together and do this, well, maybe we should try this approach as well. All right? And generally speaking, it sends a message of a different way towards achieving conflict resolution. Okay? I think that's needed. Secondly, I think we really need to come to grips with what worked and what didn't work. One administration might have tried the stick, right? Come down heavy on the gangs, right? Another might have tried the carrot, which basically is throwing money at the problem. Okay? And the thing is, when things subside a bit, they tend to feel that, well, this is, I've arrived at the solution, only to have it pop back up again, right? So obviously, and the thing is, they're unrepentant right now, both sticking to the guns and saying that when this was in power, well, at least we had a curb, etc., etc. And that's not true. The results just show it, that because the problem is still there. If anything needs a whole of society approach, I think this is it. Everybody should buy in. And I think that the Prime Minister should consider reshuffling his cabinet to rid himself of this portfolio. He already has some very weighty portfolios like health and finance. Okay? Maybe he should farm out the national security portfolio so that somebody could concentrate, be laser focused on that, rather than being distracted by other portfolios in the ministry. Okay, I don't know who would do that, but and lastly, I am yet to be convinced that young people who are well trained and educated and are employed with a clear path to provide a rewarding and hopeful future would go out and execute their peers. And so what should be happening here is that the government should be trying its utmost. It should be prioritized to create those conditions that give these marginalized young people training, work, opportunities, so they would not go into this thing. Because the behavior is if they have a suicide wish, a death wish. Okay? And so I think ultimately, if the government can wash its hands a bit and say not responsible for it, they have to do more to get.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to the program. We are out of time. You've been listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Let me just leave a quote with you to take you throughout the rest of your day. One secret of success in life is for a man to be ready for his opportunity when it comes. Benjamin Disraeli. Until next time, you guys stay safe and enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Have a good one.
From the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.